Something happens inside your head exactly 3 seconds after you open your phone tonight. And it's not just the sleepiness disappearing. Something in your brain just got forcibly shut off, and you won't realize it until years from now. Your life starts as an ordinary worker, a packed schedule from morning to evening, meetings shifting from one screen to another, rest time shrinking every year. Tonight you lie down on your bed, tuck a pillow under your neck, turn off the main light. The room goes dark, only the sound of a fan spinning slowly, occasionally a vehicle passing outside the window. For a moment you feel calm, finally able to stop after a day full of demands. Then, as always, your hand moves on its own, reaching for the only source of light left in the room. If you think this is just about trouble sleeping because of phone use, you're not entirely wrong, but you're missing what's actually happening. Inside your brain, there's a gland the size of a grain of rice called the pineal gland. It has one job. Once it gets dark, it releases melatonin, a hormone that signals your entire body to slow down, lower core temperature, and prepare for rest. This system has worked perfectly since humans first slept under the night sky, long before electricity existed. The problem is, this gland doesn't know the difference between moonlight and phone screen light 30 centimeters from your face. To your brain, both say the same thing. It's not fully dark yet, don't sleep. The first night, you won't feel anything. 15 minutes of scrolling, then you fall asleep like usual. Melatonin is delayed by a few minutes, but your body is still strong enough to catch up. What's dangerous isn't the first night. What's dangerous is when this turns into a ritual you never consciously decided to start. 2 weeks in, and you start waking up slightly more tired each morning. But you blame work, not those 30 minutes before bed, because the habit feels too small to suspect. Your bedtime keeps shifting later, 10 to 20 minutes each night, without any alarm telling you. Here's the real trap, and this is the part rarely discussed. It's not just about blue light. Every time the screen moves and new content appears, a video, a notification, a reply, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine, the same chemical that activates when you eat your favorite food or receive a compliment. Every swipe is a small chance of getting something pleasurable. Your brain, without you realizing it, starts chasing that small sensation over and over. This is why just 15 minutes almost never stays 15 minutes. It quietly stretches into an hour, sometimes more, and you never notice exactly when it happened. Sleep neuroscience research shows that blue light exposure at night can significantly suppress melatonin production, even at relatively low light levels like a phone screen. Month after month passes, and your body starts speaking in its own way. Eyes sting every time you stare at the screen too long in the dark. Neck stiff every morning from the same bent position, repeated every night. The load on your neck bones is far greater when bent forward than upright, and you think it's just an uncomfortable mattress. Your bedroom itself quietly changes character. Once a purely restful space, now it's your second mental workspace, where you read news, compare your life to other people's posts, all while lying in the same bed where you're supposed to sleep. The brain learns through place association, and once the bed is no longer purely tied to sleep, the time to rest signal becomes blurred. 6 months in, and something stranger happens. You start struggling to sleep, even on nights when you've put your phone far away. Your mind keeps spinning. Your heart still beats slightly faster, as if waiting for a notification that never comes. This isn't a coincidence. Your brain has been trained to associate the hours before sleep with stimulation, not calm. A year passes, and this pattern has become fully automatic. Your hand moves on its own the moment you lie down, like a reflex that no longer needs a conscious decision. Your sleep duration, once 7 to 8 hours, is now 6, sometimes less, and you've grown used to chronic fatigue, treating it as a normal part of being a busy adult. Meanwhile, your body keeps accumulating a sleep deficit like debt with compounding interest. Heavy head every morning, trouble focusing in meetings, easily irritated by small things you never used to care about. Weakened immune system, small cuts taking longer to heal. Chronic sleep disruption is linked to impaired blood sugar and blood pressure regulation, because nighttime is when the body is supposed to repair itself, and that process keeps getting cut short before it's finished. Now imagine 2 versions of yourself, 5 years from now. In the first version, you keep going like this. Mild insomnia turns into a fixed pattern. Caffeine stops being a habit and becomes a necessity. 1 cup becomes 2, becomes 3. Anxiety surfaces more easily because chronic sleep loss affects the part of the brain that regulates emotion. Risk of obesity, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes rises, not from one bad night, but from the accumulation of thousands of nights like this one. By your 30s, your body feels far older than it actually is. In the second version, you start shifting this habit starting tonight, not quitting entirely, because forced change rarely lasts. Just 10 minutes earlier, turning off the screen, phone placed out of reach. Within 1 to 2 weeks, your natural melatonin rhythm starts stabilizing again. A month later, your deep sleep, the phase most critical for physical and mental recovery, visibly improves. You wake up with a lighter head, more stable mood, and your morning caffeine dependence fades on its own. 3 months later, your daily energy is more even. Your neck and shoulders no longer stiff each morning, and your bedroom slowly becomes a purely restful space again. These two versions aren't fiction. They're two possibilities being decided without you realizing it. Every time you reach for your phone in the dark of your room, like tonight. Millions of people are doing the exact same thing tonight, not because they don't care about their health, but because this habit forms too slowly, too comfortably at first, to ever feel like a big decision. Your body already knows exactly how to rest well. It's just waiting for you to stop interrupting it, night after night. The question isn't whether you'll sleep tonight. The question is, how long will you let this small screen decide how well your body actually recovers?